Welcome back to college football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. Texas with a second down and whistles and a flag thrown from across the way, and now another flag is tossed down.
Well, I don't think that they had set the ball ready for play, but that's the umpire who needs to walk
Delay
up.
game on the offense. The ball was snapped before they're ready for play. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Well, I don't put that on Buck Burnett, the center. The umpire did not stay near the ball. Typically what the umpire will do is stand over the ball. That's exactly what Mack Brown is saying. That's a tough call to get 5 yards in before the snap when the umpire was not up over the ball saying don't snap it, wait till I back out. He was already in position, so Buck Burnett, the center, of course is going to get on the ball and snap it. I don't blame Mack for being upset.
Well, he's a little hot. Screen pass, and here's Charles, and Charles looking for a little open space. He'll take this one out to around the 37-yard line. Mark Dodge tripped him up.
Well, it's been just a sensational end part of the season for Jamaal Charles, and you go back to that middle part of the season where Charles had issues with fumbles, but he has been so explosive. Now out again, that 3rd and short. I think they need to start leaving Charles in there, even if it's just for a decoy of a run play.
Quick toss in and out of the hands of Finley, the tight end. Jermichael Finley could not hold on, and it is a 4th down situation.
Well, and that was good coverage by Mark Dodge. Even if Finley makes the catch, I think Dodge maybe makes the tackle right where he catches it. So A&M's defense has been sensational. 3rd punt of the game for Texas. A&M came in here. They played so many good offenses of late. They're playing as well as anybody could expect.
Justin Moore prepares to punt it away. Roger Holland, the deep man for the Aggies, he's dropped off all the way back to the 20-yard line. 10-0. Texas A&M leads it. Wobbly spiral up the side of his foot, and it's going to come dead. Going to roll down to the 24-yard line.
Well, Mark Dodge is wearing Thomas, his mother's maiden name, on the back of his jersey. A few weeks ago, before Missouri, he was banged up, may not have played, and then his grandmother passed away. The funeral was on the Friday of the Missouri game, so he didn't travel. Then during the bye week, last week, his aunt on his mother's side passed away. So the senior, he's part of that Geritol gang. He's 26 years old, spent 4 years in the military, honoring his aunt and his grandmother with his mother's maiden name instead of Dodge on the back of his jersey.
That was Gary Darnell, the defensive coordinator he was visiting with down on the sideline. Aggies have it 1st and 10 at their own 24. McGee, like he was going to run an option, goes back, throws to his tight end Martellus Bennett, and Bennett is going to be stopped after a gain of about 3 as the ball came out. But did it go out of bounds?
Yes, it did, and Bennett was trying to move that ball around.
McElroy is the man who made the hit. Also, Orakpo was out there on the
field.
play.
That the ball was fumbled forward and out of bounds. The ball will be placed at the spot where it was fumbled, the 26-yard line. 2nd down.
That's the right call. Didn't go forward by very much, but Bennett, he looked like he had a hard time kind of locking that thing away. And McElroy, part of that second group of linebackers that kind of come in as a group. Kendall, Norton, McElroy, they're all sophomores and all have very bright futures for the Longhorns.
Jaworski Lane, the only man in the backfield this time with McGee. And now McGee, I don't know if it's a broken play or what, running for his life, but he's got some space, and he will get out of bounds at the 29-yard line. McElroy was the man in the area again.
And there is a Longhorn down. There was a cut block. It was a completely legal cut block. And that is Frank Okam, a senior, who was giving chase and coming back to make the block. That's Yemi Babalola. A completely legal play. You can block below the waist, and it was in front of Okam, not behind, but good to see Okam up and moving around.
So the situation's going to be 3rd down, and the Aggies are going to need about 4.5 yards for the 1st down. As they lead it 10-0, we have 13:40 to play until halftime. Mike Goodson will check into the lineup, and Jaworski Lane, has come to the sideline. Aggies will go with Bennett, the tight end, set in a slot to the bottom of your screen.
And that's the guy I like. nobody over top of him, you can maybe swing it out to him right now and get a quick one.
Texas moving, and a flag comes down. The pass thrown complete, and then a late flag came in from behind the play as it's thrown to Bennett. That's enough for the first down, but let's check all the markers.
Well, a lot of times a quarterback will see that flag and know that it's going to be offsides. He had exactly what he wanted when Bennett walked out there.
Offsides on the defense, number 98. That penalty is declined. Yardage gains a first down.
Now, you don't want to take away. McGee saw what he wanted. He saw Bennett line up in that slot. The linebacker did not go out enough to cover him, so he just hit him very quickly for the first. But a lot of times when you're quarterback, you see those guys jump, you've got a freebie, and you may just go ahead and pull it back and see if you've got something deep. Even maybe look at one of your receivers and tell him to go low.
So a new set of downs as they scrimmage from their own 37-yard line. Aggies with a long drive just a moment ago, over 5 minutes and 81 yards. The pass is overthrown and incomplete, intended for Schenkel. And some of the folks on this side of the field, some of the Aggie faithful wanting either defensive holding or pass interference, and the officials did not see it that way. So well, the second and 10.
E.J. Schenkel thought it was a running play. And that's why Stephen McGee was looking at him, yelling and saying, listen, man, we had a pass play. Schenkel was actually down there blocking like it was a run play. And so when McGee came over there, all he had was him locked up with the defensive back trying to block him for a run.
Goodson resets in the backfield. They give him the football. Big opening, has 5, has 10, and it's going to be another A&M first down as Lamar Houston will make the tackle for A&M, and Yoder with an outstanding block. Let's check in again with Jack Arute.
Well, fellas, maybe a little bit of the confusion might be due to the fact that Stephen McGee throughout most of his career here at A&M has been known more as a runner than a passer. But back in high school, he could air it out. Look at some of the passes that he was able to throw. A lot of people, well, weren't quite sure that he had that ability, and they've always questioned why maybe they didn't pass more. Well, they're passing a lot today, aren't they?
Hey, Jack, that number 8 he was throwing to, where's number 8 for the Texas Longhorns, Jordan Shipley. They were a really huge combination at Burnett High School. On first down, out in the flat, it's thrown to Roger Holland, and Holland is going to be pushed back close to the 40-yard line. But the officials, though, say that forward progress was to the 44.
Well, you mentioned Jordan Shipley and Stephen McGee. They're both avid hunters, and Stephen McGee in an interview this week, they said, what are your plans after the game? You've got Saturday off. He said, well, Jordan and I are going out hunting. That's what we do in our off time. And I think, you know, that's kind of a microcosm of this rivalry altogether. You know, this rivalry is very respectful. And even though they want to beat each other very well, a lot of good friends are Aggies and Longhorns. And as soon as the game's over, it's back to their friendship.
Second down, they need to take it all the way to the Texas 43. McGee gets away from pressure, throws it complete, and will have the first down to Pierre Brown.
Well, that high school footage we just showed shows that McGee does have a very easy, quick throwing motion. And you wonder if the pounding he takes as a option quarterback has hurt him with a part of his game that, quite frankly, we haven't seen all year. This is the most diverse throwing game we've seen out of A&M all season long, and I wonder if that off week hasn't really helped McGee heal.
You see 11 of 16 from the Texas 41. Jaworski Lane pitches the ball back. That's Corey, and he throws, caught out of bounds. Kerry Franks, the intended receiver. McGee has run all the way down the field to say that he was forced out of bounds, that he caught it before and then was pushed out of bounds.
In college football, it doesn't matter. If you don't land in bounds, regardless of how you got out of bounds, it's an incomplete pass. So that is the right call. It looked like he may have been able to get a foot down, but it doesn't matter. At this level of ball, you got to get the foot down regardless if someone's pushing you or not.
Well, the man who threw the pass and almost came up with a heroic moment as you look at Pierre Brown, number 6. Aggies again spread all over the field on a 2nd down and 10. Texas shows blitz in the middle, and Bobineau comes on the blitz. McGee has the ball overthrown at the 5-yard line. Bennett the intended receiver, and there's a flag thrown by the referee this time from behind the play.
Now you get the sense that where it's thrown might be walking off holding. Of course, Matt Brown is rooting for
holding
that.
On the offense, number 64. The 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 2nd down.
By the way, if we finally have slowed down a little bit, always when you have a joined in progress, you go 90 miles an hour. Let's explain one thing that Aggie faithful, I'm sure, have been asking since this telecast came on, and that is, yes, these are new uniforms. Gray trousers. Been 20 years since they have worn gray togs. It's the first time this year, and of course they're new with Adidas, and Adidas made new jerseys with the gray piping as well to go with the gray trousers. So don't be adjusting the color on your television set or try to make it lighter. Those are gray. They are not white togs that they're wearing. And now a timeout is being called by McGee. We'll take a timeout with him.
Texas A&M.
10-0. Aggies lead, and we'll be back with more in a moment. Well, Texas needs a whole lot of that, and that is Texas fight, because so far in this ball game, as we have 11-14 to play until halftime, they have totally been outfought by the Texas Aggies. There is no question about that.
Well, and Texas, the team, if you had to say who had to play for more, Texas looking at a very good chance at a BCS at-large with a win, and they're still in the mix in the South. Hard to believe they're being outplayed right now.
Pass intercepted by Texas, almost caught by Bennett, and Dion Beasley comes up with the turnover. And we'll see if that's the thing that it takes to light the fire of the Longhorns.
Now this ball got away from Stephen McGee. He was trying to find Bennett. Remember, we've seen Bennett in that slot a couple of times, and that ball just came out funny. He tried to float it over the 2 linebackers, but it just came out of McGee's hand funny and was wobbling the whole way, completely off target. Bennett makes a nice effort, and let's see if Beasley, excellent job. Good job getting his elbow underneath of it so it didn't hit the ground.
So the Longhorns take it over, 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line, trailing A&M 10-0. McCoy steps up over the middle, throws it complete, and that is Jones. Nate Jones, the senior out of Texarkana, making his first reception of the afternoon.
And the first kind of momentum changer, and for A&M this season has been all about turnovers, even though they've been pretty good on the plus side. That's why coaches talk about it all the time. They're perfect when they're positive. When they're behind, they're 0-5.
Pass thrown complete to the 44-yard line. That's Pittman. And Pittman very quickly realigns what will amount to the top of your screen, wide to the left. Charles looks for a spot to run and almost found a huge hole. In fact, he is going to wind up with a 1st down. He kind of pitter-pattered back behind for a long time and then turned it upfield. Now it's time for our Aflac trivia question. This week's question: of the last 5 Texas A&M head coaches, which one had a winning record against Texas?
I think R.C. Slocum was even. I think it was right at 500. That's a tough one.
On 1st down, McCoy throws it complete at the 46. Now they say incomplete.
And A&M Texas has started to hurry up a little bit. They're getting the calls from the sideline. They're going pretty much no huddle. They have for the entire beginning of the game. That's the right call. The ball bounced, but obviously added this wrinkle during their bye week. And they're getting the snap off at around 16 seconds left on the play clock. I think they want to try to start to wear out A&M and hopefully get Charles involved.
2nd down and 10. McCoy gives it to Charles. Obanaya, beg your pardon, number 2. McGee.
Vondrell McGee, a young man who, as a freshman, when Jamal Charles was having some fumble problems, got a lot of playing time, and he's earned the right to be in there. A good, powerful between the tackles running. But now with Ogbonnaya in there, if you're A&M, you've got to think that Texas is going to throw the ball, so now you can back out into coverage.
So Texas tries to spread out the A&M defense. And now a stoppage. It's Toupee who is coming to the sideline. We'll have to check. He must have had blood. Yeah, had blood visibly on his face, and they made him come to the sideline. McCoy steps up, swing pass, flag comes down, and the ball is caught and then kicked out of bounds. And they'll say it's an incomplete pass to Ogbonnaya. Did not hold on to it.
You're in a position, if you're A&M on the plus side of the field, if you decline this penalty, it looks like it's going to be holding. That's what they're talking to Gary Darnell right now. I think you may want to accept this, because on the plus side of the field, they may go for it.
On the offense, number 74. That penalty's declined. Brings up 4th down.
Here you sit at, 4th, and it looks like a little under 5, plus side of the field, even though Texas looks like they're running their punting unit on that. That's a tweener there, whether you want to accept that penalty or decline it.
So Justin Moore will come out and set up to punt the football. So Texas gets an interception and does nothing with it, as the drive will stall at the A&M 44-yard line.
I'd be alert for a fake if I'm A&M, and they do have their safe defense in.
Moore's kick very high, tries to pooch it to get it to dive, and it's going to hit, and it will take a Texas bounce. That ball is going to be touched dead at the 5-yard line by Beasley. So 39 yards on the kick, and the Aggies will take it over deep in their own territory. Coming up, we'll get another look at Stephen McGee, the 6'3" junior. Can he take the Aggies 95 yards to pay dirt? We'll find out right after this.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. Brought to you by DLP HD TV. DLP is the official ESPN on ABC HD telecast sponsor of college football. Hummer, like nothing else. Aflac, ask about it at work. And the Home Depot, you can do it.
Well, that train came through College Station just a few minutes ago. I guess the 3:15 might be accurate to call it. The Aggies starting inside their own 15-yard line for the 3rd time in their last 5 drives. Stephen McGee, play action. Going to go on top, and he goes right over the middle and has it to his tight end Bennett. And Texas gave him the cushion right up the middle, and they took advantage of it. Eric Jackson defensively. And let's go down to Jack Arute.
There, gentlemen, is a perfect example of the leadership that Stephen McGee has. Remember the last time he attempted a pass before that one, he threw a pick. So what did he do when he came over to the sidelines? Didn't apologize to anybody, didn't say anything, just picked up the phone, and I heard him say, yep, I know. And then he sat there, and you saw the rest of the story just then.
Yeah, I would imagine that Les Caning, who he was talking to, said, slipped out of your hand, didn't it? And Stephen said, yeah, it sure did.
Yeah, tried to put a little too much touch on that one. Running play, Lane will go straight up the middle, out over the 30-yard line, and finally stopped at the 32. Let's check in again with John Saunders. More on Arkansas and LSU.
Well, Ron, as we told you earlier, LSU having all kinds of problems moving the ball. Not the case for Arkansas and Darren McFadden. His 2nd touchdown of the game. Watch his late block coming. 73 yards on this touchdown run. 14-6 Arkansas.
Well, all of us have votes in the Heisman. If McFadden keeps running that well and they win, you've got to start thinking of him back in the race for the Heisman.
Taylor on the receiving end, and he'll have the 1st down. And
I think that McGee really shook off that interception quickly. I think that was the What Jack saw on the sideline was talk to the coach. You figured you made a mistake, just let it go, come back out and throw it again, because they haven't gone away from the plan. The offensive plan obviously is to keep mixing in that pass more than they have all season.
Here comes the option. And quarterback McGee will keep it. Scott Berry finally made the tackle, but he'll take it up close to the 45-yard line. Well, earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question. For the last 5 Texas A&M head coaches, which one had a winning record against Texas? And the answer is...
I would, Jackie Sherrill maybe, but I think he may have been 500 against Texas as well.
Jackie Sherrill 5-2 between 82 and 1988.
You cheated. You had the book up there.
No, you know what? I honestly didn't. That's the one time this year, Jack, that I didn't open the book.
In fact, that's the last time that A&M wore the gray trousers when Jackie Sherrill was here. Goodson turns the corner, breaks the tackle, flag is down. And let's see if this is a first down or if they're going to bring it back. Tackle made by Roy Miller.
Well, I think that they've got Martellus Bennett for holding. I was wondering if they were going to call it. I believe he was working one-on-one with Robert Killebrew, the outside linebacker.
Holding on the offense, number 13. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul. Replay, second down.
Well, it was pretty obvious, and it was on the edge. But he just completely impeded the progress of Robert Killebrew.
So Mack Brown a little nervous on the far sideline, and for good reason. He's down 10-0, and I could tell you this: as high-powered as the Kansas offense is, and they've scored a load of points on virtually everybody this year, they were held scoreless in the first half in a game 2 weeks ago down here at College Station.
Yeah, the defense for the Aggies has played. When you look at stack up who they've played over the last 7 ball games, played very well, and they're doing the same today, and the offense feeding off of that.
McGee, pressure, throws it complete, and that's Brown. And Pierre Brown is going to have the first down on that second little wiggle and second effort. 14 yards on the play. Griffin finally stopped it.
Well, we're seeing a side of Stephen McGee that we haven't seen in a while. Stands right in the face of pressure, did not back away from it, and that's a tough throw. With the pressure right in his face from Bobineau, had to kind of fall away from it a little ways, and that was a long throw down the field to Brown, and Brown did a good job of wiggling around to pick up the first down. But this is a side of McGee's game that we really haven't seen all year.
Alexander checks into the ball game at fullback for the Aggies. Play action, though, and he's going to throw it out of the backfield, and instead of catching it, Chris Alexander kind of fought it a little bit and just knocked it right down to the turf.
And Alexander, a guy that they've tried to get the ball a few times. He's not just a blocker, but you're right. When he spun around, he just didn't have his hands set, and it looked like it was on him before he expected it. Maybe get Goodson involved again. The screen pass that went for a touchdown, maybe bring that play back out. But with Javorsky Lane in there, a little more limited with what you can do.
So on second and 10, again play action, and the ball delivered. Got one-on-one coverage, and it is caught at the 15-yard line, and a 1st and 10. Kerry Franks on the reception. Ryan Palmer trying to take the ball away from him.
Well, and that was a really nice throw by Stephen McGee. He put it behind the receiver. How many times do you see when the corner is running stride for stride, the quarterback tries to throw it over the top and it's just going to be incomplete? This thrown underneath could have got a pass interference on Palmer, but Franks went up and made a nice play on it. But you want to underthrow it when the coverage is there.
Palmer was slow as far as ball identification, and he did not know it was there until it was already being grabbed into his arms. So it's first down, and the ball is at the 13-yard line of Texas, and movement all over the place. Looked like Schumard came out of his stance.
Full start on the offense, number 76. It's a 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, it's obvious this offense and this game plan for A&M. They've come out the aggressor, and it doesn't feel like Texas was ready for that. I think Texas expected to get pounded with the triple option, and this game plan by Les Caney and Dennis Franchione has caught Texas completely off guard, and they just simply have not adjusted.
Well, Jaworski Lane, is it his time, or will they go back to the air? They give it to Lane, right up the middle. Breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, and he'll have it down to the 10-yard line. It's going to be a gain of about 7, almost 8 yards as Aaron Lewis finally puts the stop on him. And it's going to be a second down for A&M, and they need about 7 yards for the first.
You know, coming into this game, if Lane was in the backfield, you could just think pretty much between the tackles type of run. But because A&M is airing it out, running some option, running some screens, they've got Martellus Bennett involved heavily in the plan today. You're just not sure when the big back is in there what you're going to get.
Well, the tease that we ran just a while ago, we said, can the quarterback, Stephen McGee, come in and drive this team 95 yards? Well, he has driven them 85 yards so far, but this time Jaworski Lane is going to be stopped for no gain. In fact, he'll lose one, and it'll be third down for the Aggies. Robert Killebrew was the first man to make contact for Texas. Also, Aaron Lewis helped out.
Well, the guy that you would expect they'll look for here in this area is Martellus Bennett. And Bennett, who just became Texas A&M's career yard receiving record holder for tight ends, and he's just a junior, is such a mismatch in here. And I would suspect that they will look at Bennett, who's lining up over here to the slot. You got double coverage, though. Smart move by Texas.
Third down, line to make is the 3. Texas shows blitz off the right side. And a pass back over the middle, thrown complete, tackled immediately at the 7-yard line. And a good hit on Taylor by Eric Jackson.
Well, and the fans wanting them to go for it because the fans are well aware of the struggles of Matt Zemanski. But Zemanski already drilled one, so Coach Franchione, wanting to go up essentially 2 touchdowns, trots out his field goal kicker.
As you can see, Zemanski knocked one home from 31 yards, and this one a heck of a lot closer than that. It's only 22 yards from the far hash mark. It is a fake, and they're running it for the end zone. Touchdown, Texas A&M, T.J. Sanders.
Well, mentioned a moment ago that A&M seems to be the aggressor today, and it's not just the players. The coaches have come in with a wide open plan, and when you get ready to play a deep Dennis Franchione coach team, you've got to expect things like that. He will run a lot of fakes in the kicking game.
So again, Stevens is out there. Sanders, I should say, is the holder, and this time it's kicked. And just what we said when we gave you that tease about the quarterback just a few minutes ago. Could he drive him 95 yards? Well, he had a lot of help from some different people, but A&M just went 95 yards to make it a 17-0 ball game. T.J. Sanders, the holder, who does not get a lot of recognition. Well, let me tell you, he should. Not only on the field, he just scored a big touchdown against the Texas Longhorns, but he also is a 4-point student in kinesiology.
And watch Coach Fran go for the high five, and then Kirk Elder wants more than a high five, and they get the back bump. Not bad. It's kind of the fad now. Everyone wants to be jumping in the air, but of course, a lot of speculation circulating around, but you get the sense the players under Coach Franchione like and respect him, and boy, are they playing their hearts out today. And a lot of them, their last ball game here at Kyle Field, including T.J. Sanders.
Zemanski with the kickoff, and he drives this one long, and it's going to go 5 yards deep, and the Longhorns will not return it. And let's check in again with New York and an update on the LSU.
We told you LSU problems moving the football. John Jacob Hester, though, no problems. Watch him get into the end zone. Just a little power at the end to push it across. Down by 2, going for the 2-point conversion. Matt Flynn keeps it and just dives. May have hurt himself. Arkansas has just scored to take the lead 20-14. The point after is pending. We'll let you know more about that in a moment. Ron, back to you.
Okay, John, that's an interesting matchup down there. And well, I got a theory in that game, and I'll give you in just a minute. As Charles gets the pass, and he's loose in the open field. Charles cuts it across at the 50, at the 40, at the 30, slows up for a blocker, and finally shoved out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
Well, we've been wondering when Jamal Charles was going to start getting the ball. Of course, Charles tweaked his ankle 2 weeks ago against Texas Tech. Had to come out for most of the second half. The coaches said that he got much healthier after the bye week. And with that 10-2-300-meter speed, won the Big 12 100 meters as a freshman. If it weren't for a great angle by Stephen Hodge, that one was going to the house.
All right, what did we talk about during the timeout?
Get it to
that
25.
Texas has got to get hard-headed. I mean, you got to get hard-headed and give the football to your best guy. And he's got it again. And hit very hard as he goes inside the 15 and down at the 13-yard line is Charles. Stephen Hodge, along with Mark Dodge, combining on the tackle.
And Charles doesn't quite look 100%. He looks close. Not quite, but he's still, with that much speed, at 92%, 93%. Of course, got to be a little winded after that long run.
Well, 123 yards compared to just over 30 for the rest of the team. And the handoff here to McGee, and Vontrell McGee is going to be hauled to the turf at around the 8-yard line. Close to the first down, but I don't think he's got it. Harrington along with Stephen Dodge. Stephen Dodge has been a busy man. He's made the last 3 tackles, or assisted anyway.
And here you are in 3rd and short. And if you're Dennis Franchione, worried about a play action, again, we've been talking about Martellus Bennett for Texas. Jermichael Finley, a guy you should look out for at tight end.
Looks like Texas called a timeout.
Timeout, Texas. It's their first timeout of the half.
So we'll take it with them. 1:34 remaining until halftime. A&M on top, 17-0.
Now.
Hey guys, that 12th man, the noise you hear almost cost Mack Brown the inadvertent timeout. He had to run 20 yards to the side, Judge, because he could not be heard yelling timeout. Got in his face and signaled for it.
So we got Vontrell McGee in the ball game at tailback, and also Derek Lokey, the big defensive tackle, is in, lined up at fullback. So I think you can follow him, and that's where the play will go. And he got a pancake and penetration by the Aggies, and they stop him dead on 3rd down, and that's Carpenter. Marquise Carpenter. Look at the block that Lokey throws, but they got penetration around him.
There was too many guys on that side. Carpenter is lined up on the outside, completely unblocked. I was thinking Texas called the timeout to set up some type of play action, but Lokey goes up to the inside, and so does Obanaya. Nobody bounced outside. They miscounted the numbers to that side, and now
the guy he pancaked was his own man.
Yeah, unfortunately, they just didn't count right, and now Texas loses yardage and has to run Ryan Bailey out.
So Bailey lines up to attempt what appeared to be a 27-yard field goal from the right hash mark.
And I think Mack Brown is going to want them to let this clock run all the way down, not afraid to back up or take the timeout, because he doesn't want A&M to get the ball back with much time on the clock. I think this is the right call by Mack Brown, who's actually out on the field getting ready to call timeout. Yeah, this is the right strategic move. If you're going to go for the 3, let that clock go all the way down so that A&M doesn't get much chance on offense.
Well, he didn't want to take a chance of the officials not hearing him like the last time, guys.
Timeout, Texas. It's their final timeout of the half. It's a 30-second time.
Help decide the Pontiac game-changing performance of the day. Go to ESPN.com, search Pontiac to determine which school will win $5,000. They line up for a 27-yard field goal attempt. Shipley is the holder, and they're going to fake it. And Shipley goes straight ahead and diving. I don't know if he got the first down. Now,
prior to the snap, timeout, Texas A&M. It's their final timeout of the half. It's a 30-second timeout.
So Texas runs a fake. I don't think he got it anyway, did he?
Didn't look like it.
No.
Dennis Franchione trying to ice it. But I think you're right, Ron.
We saw this in the Hawaii and Nevada game, and a kid had to kick a 45-yard field goal twice. I know that was a fake. That was not going to be a kick, but that to a kicker to me is extremely, extremely unfair. If you can call it half a second before the ball is snapped.
And now I think Texas has to kick it.
No, I think they do.
I mean, you've shown you were going to fake it. Now I think you've got to kick it.
So from the same spot again, Shipley is the holder. And the kick is up, and Bailey is good. So Texas is on the scoreboard with 12 seconds left until halftime. Our new score, 17-3.
I go back to that timeout, you know, Texas let the clock run all the way down. If you're going to fake it and try to get the first down, wouldn't you want to try to save some of that clock if you picked up the first down? So I'm not quite sure why they would have run it down before running that fake.
You know what may have to happen when you go to field goal formation to avert that from happening? Come to the line of scrimmage and go ahead and just snap the ball. Don't give him a chance to. Of course, then you may foul up the kicker with him trying to kick too quickly. So the Aggies up on top here at halftime, 17-3, and I still don't feel like with the field goal that any momentum has been taken away from them. I mean, they've just owned it since the beginning of the game. After 3 straight losses on 3 straight snaps to start the ball game, they complete a pass and pick up a huge first down, and they haven't looked back since then.
I'm with you. That field goal, and who knows what would have happened on that fake if it would have been good or not, but it didn't feel like it did anything. It really didn't. You just get the sense that A&M is the team with the purpose in this game, and with everything for Texas to play, a little shocking.
Hunter Lawrence with the kick, and he is going to drive this one to the 10-yard line and going to be picked up at the 8 by Franks. And Gary Franks will be tackled at around the 23. And that should be the end of the first half. Now let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Well, early for Texas A&M, they came out throwing the ball, and this time Mike Goodson does an unbelievable job keeping his balance, runs through the arm tackle of Brian Orakpo, and A&M has been getting pressure on McCoy, and they haven't had to blitz to do it. And then an excellent fake on the field goal, and TJ Sanders, a senior on senior day, gets a touchdown. A great call by Dennis Franchione and his staff.
Good look at Sanders right there. And they go into the protect formation, and McGee will take a knee, and that is the last play of the first half. And they are standing and applauding here in the College Station. Let's go down to Jack Arute.
Well, Coach, in the first half, not the kind of offense you wanted. How do you get it back on track?
Well, Jack, you come to Kyle-Field, it's hard. We've always said that. We've known that. You've been around us here for about the last 5 weeks, and we've been in this position before. It was really good that we got some points to end the half, and we get the ball to start the second half. So what they've done, everything they've done and planned has worked. They've kept the ball, and we haven't moved it very well.
What was the thought process on calling a timeout if you were going to try a fake field goal like that?
Well, we thought if we called timeout, they wouldn't think we were going to fake it, and we thought we might score. So that's what we did, and we fooled ourselves.
Thanks.
Well, Jaworski Lane being helped off the field as they head to the locker room, and he is obviously trying to protect that left ankle. So we'll try to get more on that at halftime. So 17-3, Aggies lead it at halftime. Now let's join John Saunders and Jesse Palmer in our New York studio.
All right, Ron, thanks a lot. All right, one of these teams is playing for a chance to get into the Big 12 championship game, and it doesn't look like Texas.
It's not Texas right now. Who would have thought Stephen McGee would be outdueling Colt McCoy at this point of the football game? 209 yards passing, and this is supposed to be a running team we're seeing, but Dennis Franchione's team pulling out all the stops, fake field goals, whatever it takes, playing very inspired football right now.
Texas win and an Oklahoma loss tomorrow, and Texas is in the Big 12 championship